Donald Duck and the Misfit Toys. All that and more now on Graph's Grievances. Seven Republican presidential candidates facing off on the debate stage last night for the second time. Once again, the GOP's far and away frontrunner, former President Donald Trump, absent. And despite the slugfest lasting over 90 minutes, none of the candidates changing the dynamics of the race. The frequently incomprehensible debate, with candidates talking over each other and moderators unable to control the discourse, reinforcing Trump's decision to boycott it. The whole thing looked like an embarrassing joke. As someone who believes America needs a strong, principled, conservative Republican Party, devoid of anything to do with Trump and his fascist populism, I couldn't help but think, this is all they've got? The leading contenders for their party's nomination, Donald Trump, is facing 91 charges across 4 criminal cases. Yet none of his opponents cared to mention this damning fact before an audience of millions. And when they did choose to criticize Trump, it was for not appearing at the debate. That is Trump's biggest sin? Just 5 days ago, the former president suggested that America's top military general, Mark Milley, deserves to be executed. But of course, that too was not mentioned last night. The candidates instead bickering with one another over the pettiest of issues. And even if you were interested in voting for someone other than Trump in an upcoming Republican primary, none of the candidates gave you a reason to vote for them. They largely failed to explain how they would govern differently from the former president, and incomprehensibly never made the case that Trump is unelectable. How could no one mention that the twice impeached Trump already lost once to President Joe Biden, and therefore nominating Trump again to face off against Biden would be literally the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. But I guess that is what they want, because I can guarantee no one is going to become a credible Trump alternative by fighting over custom curtains. Literally. That bizarre dispute arising when South Carolina Senator Tim Scott accused former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley of spending $50,000 in taxpayer money on curtains for the ambassador's residence in New York. Scott getting the cost of the custom curtains about right, but falsely implying it was Haley who spent the money. The funds for the now infamous curtains were authorized during the Obama administration, not the Trump administration when Haley served as ambassador. That extremely ill-advised and inaccurate attack by Scott, frankly emblematic of an entire debate in which virtually no solutions were presented to address the real problems Americans face. If one candidate did rise above the rest during the constant crosstalk and mostly unanswered questions, it was Haley. She accurately tried to answer the questions posed to her by the moderators and pointed out areas in which she disagreed with her opponents on stage. Haley hitting DeSantis for limiting fracking in Florida, blasting Scott for runaway government spending, and calling out Ramaswamy for joining TikTok despite the company's links to communist China. At one point, Haley even telling Ramaswamy, quote, "Honestly, every time I hear you, I feel a little bit dumber." The audience loudly laughed. But outside of Haley's jabs, few policy differences between the candidates were identified. And that is why, in an extremely rare moment of clarity immediately following the debate, DeSantis said, quote, "If I was watching at home, I would have changed the channel." Which begs the question, why hold another debate? Sure, it's great entertainment for people like myself, who are constantly obsessed with this stuff, but it also further reveals that the Republican presidential primary is a sham. Barring death, Trump is going to get the nomination, even if Chris Christie insists on continuing to call him Donald Duck. Thank you for watching Graph's Grievances. Let me know what you think. Please subscribe, share, and join me tomorrow for more.